Upstairs is where we held a dormitory for some of the Panther children. We had about how many dormitories? 5 or 6 dormitories for the Panther children. Now, Melvin, you want to add something? Okay.
One thing that people ask how the clinic got started. It was a really interesting story. One of the doctors, Dr. Burt Small, who's still active, he has a clinic out in East Oakland. When we came into the clinic, we didn't know exactly what we were doing, but people said, well, how did you staff the clinic? How did you learn what you learned to do? Actually, we learned from a lot of the Vietnam vets who came back and were medics. They taught us about blood testing, they taught us how to take blood, they taught people how to do the sickle cell testing, and also started showing people how to actually do physical. So, how did we get our supplies? Well, actually, we talked to pharmaceutical representatives, and they were actually would leave actual samples, and we ended up having a full pharmacy. With Dr. Burt Small coming on and getting other people, we started having a lot of nurses and doctors who would come in and volunteer their time. And so it became a model. And so you know that the Black Panther Party also started the Sickle Cell Anemia Foundation, which of course a lot of people claim it, but we did the testing, we informed the community, and now there's a resurgence in information concerning sickle cell anemia, because if 2 people have the trait, their child can be born with full-blown sickle cell and affects mostly young people. So I just want to add that fact on how we learned a lot of what we did. And then, how many clinics did we end up having?
Well, we had the first clinic open in Chicago. First chapter opened up there. 3 clinics in the Chicago chapter. The first free clinic of the Black Panther Party was Chicago, Illinois, under the leadership of Fred Hampton. Some of you probably heard of him, who was the late Fred Hampton. But they were leading in clinics, organizing clinics. In the sickle cell anemia campaign, they also tested, and they had also breakfast programs, etc., as we had them here. But it was Chicago. In Seattle, Washington, where I served there about 3 years, we started up the campaign early on too, through the prison, Walla Walla State Prison in Washington, State Washington. We would recruit doctors and medical people, as James was pointing out, often from the campuses, and we would go through our free busing program, and would lead us into the prisons. And in the prison, we tested, the doctors led the tests and trained the volunteers how to do the test. Because the test is quite simple. You prick the finger, you sample your blood, and you need what they call an electrophoresis machine. So that tests the blood, and it tests the red blood. It tests to see if your blood is proper. Because the red blood corpuscles will sickle up and loses oxygen and that sort of thing, can cause your death. But anyway, we moved forward with that campaign, as Jamie pointed out, from this facility here, initially called the Free Bobby Seale Free Clinic. And as George was murdered and assassinated in 1971, we changed the name to Free George Jackson Free Clinic. Okay.
And it's really significant to know that the spirit and the vision and the mission for the community is still existing today. This house is the Berkeley Drop-In Center. The Berkeley Drop-In Center serves as an advocate for mental health, people with mental health issues. And I happen to serve on the board. I'm the vice chairman of the Alameda County Network for Mental Health Clients. So the spirit lives on and the work continues.